It's time for us to talk about my favorite business model, that is the service based business model. If you've been following my channel for a while, I have been going through a series of business models that women in corporate America can start as a side business. It's really important that you understand that not all businesses are created equal and not all businesses will work for you. For us, women with full time jobs looking to leverage that full time job to build long term wealth, we really do need to choose the right business strategies. Choosing the right business strategy is the difference between you being successful and you struggling. And because you already, as a woman in corporate, have a place of expertise, you already have experience in a particular field and industry, the service based business could be the perfect business model for you. But does that mean that this model fits your goal? So before you invest time, energy, or money, we need some clarity on what exactly it is and how you can succeed with this particular business model. If you've been thinking about starting a business but aren't really sure what type of business you want to start, this video will help you make the right decision. A service based business allows you to leverage what you already know and get paid for it. You don't have to worry about inventory. You don't have to worry about product development. You don't have to worry about complicated logistics. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, click over here because I recently talked about a product based business model. If that is for you, the video is going to be linked up here. You can click on that after this is over. There's also a link down below so that you can see how that business model differs from the service-based business model. So you just need your expertise. You need to structure it in a way that provides value. And in this video, you will learn what a service-based business is and how it works, the key benefits of this business model and why it might not be right for you, and the exact steps to launch and scale a profitable service-based business. By the end of the video, you will have an absolute clarity on whether a service-based business is for you and whether or not this is the right move for you to understand exactly how to turn your corporate expertise into a profitable, scalable business. To know how to start immediately without confusion, hesitation, or wasted effort. This is your decision, your business, and your future. If you are serious about building financial freedom beyond the corporate paycheck, keep watching. And please hit the like button, subscribe so the algorithm gods can help more women find my channel. This is a small task for you, but for me, it means everything. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Lessons Lived. I'm Nandy, and if you are new here, I am so glad you found this space. Ours is a community of ambitious women who take action. We don't just learn, we live our lessons. We leverage our full time jobs to build scalable businesses because we know that wealth isn't an escape plan, my darling. It's a power move. Your 9 to 5 is your launching pad, not a limitation. Without further ado, let's get started into the topic at hand. In today's digital age, building a service based business is an excellent way for women in corporate America to diversify income, gain financial independence, and create a more flexible lifestyle. Whether you're passionate about coaching, consulting, bookkeeping, or any other services, starting a business can be an empowering journey. And if you are new to entrepreneurship, no worry. This video is your guide. It will walk you through the foundational steps to building and scaling your service business successfully. Before we get started, let's first talk about what is a service-based business. A service-based business is really just like, think about what you do currently at your job. You are technically offering your company a service, and in return, they are paying you for that service. So you provide expertise, skills, or a solution to clients rather than a physical product. These businesses will often operate by delivering value through specialized services, which can be offered in person or online. I prefer online, of course. Examples of service based businesses include financial coaching, consulting, social media management, virtual assistant services, personal training. Yes, absolutely. Personal training is a service. For a very long time, we thought the only way you could offer this service was through a gym. But for a year, I had a personal trainer. I was in California. She was in the East Coast. So I will be waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning to train with my trainer. The key to a successful business model is to leverage your knowledge and expertise in order to solve a client's problem. This is really important. When you offer a service based business, your job is to solve problems and to fulfill a very specific need. So when you're thinking about a service based business, that's really where you have to start. Are you really solving a problem? And is there mass demand for that problem? You need to clearly define it. You need to figure out who needs a solution and what the solution is going to be. Let's talk about the benefits of a service based business. This particular business, in my opinion, comes with a lot of upsides and a lot of benefits. Service-based business come with a lot of advantages, and honestly, this makes them a very attractive business model. The first benefit we are going to discuss is the low startup cost. Most service-based business require very minimal upfront investment. Often, you just need a laptop, you need internet connection, and you need a professional branding. And if you already in corporate America and you already have a network, people already know you, that's the beginning of professional branding right there. What we also love about this business is that it offers high profit margins. You have no inventory, you have no manufacturing cost, you have no office cost because you can do it in your home. So your profit margins tend to be higher compared to a product based business. Flexible work schedule. My God, this is my personal favorite. Honestly, to me, this puts it on the top of all business model. When you have a service-based business, you can operate from anywhere. You can set your own hours and you can adjust your workload based on your lifestyle. Let's say, for example, you just had a baby. You're going to stay home for 6 months to a year and maybe just take 2 or 3 clients. When the baby is of school age, now you can take on 10 clients. Or let's say you have kids who are off in the summer and in the winter. In the summer months, you cut down how many clients you see. But when they go back to school, you amp up how many clients you want to see, right? So I like that flexibility because it allows you to be able to modulate your schedule based on your life and your family's lifestyle. Another great benefit is quick market entry. Since you really don't have the barrier of a physical product that needs to be developed, that needs to go through the full product development life cycle, that can take anywhere from 6 months if you're crazy to 2 years if you want to do it to perfection. You can start offering services very quickly or almost immediately, right? You can go to a networking event, tell them, here are my services. If you price it low enough, somebody's going to buy it. And before you know it, you have your first client. I do have to say this disclaimer, don't get me wrong. This business, any business, is not easy. It takes time to build, to strengthen relationship, to strengthen your reputation, okay? So there's no way I am telling you that you can just start making money hands over fist tomorrow. It still takes time. But the barrier to entry in terms of financial investing upfront is lower. Another great benefit of this particular business model is the scalability. With digital tools, automation and hiring subcontractors, a service based business can grow without requiring significant infrastructure, right? And I also want to be very honest. I think the scalability is both a pro and a con. I think it depends on what your service based business is, right? If you structure your service based business around primarily you, it might be harder to scale. And this is why, from the very beginning, I am really emphasizing scalability because we don't want you going from having a job working for someone else to having a job working for yourself. That makes no sense, right? We want to empower you to build businesses that you can hand over tasks to other people so that they can take that on, allowing you to leverage their time to build your wealth. Now, let's talk about your winning strategies. This is the blueprint of how you will win in this particular business model. The first thing that I want you to do is to identify your skills and your niche. Yes, 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 yes. That is a throughput for all of these different businesses. You will not win in business if you do not know specifically who you are talking to and why you are talking to them, right? You need to know who your people is. Who is my people? Who is my person? You need to identify them and you need to identify them clearly. There's an exercise that you actually need to do is to specifically identify who that avatar is. What's her hair look like? What's her eye color? Where does she like to go shopping? I work in the beauty space. And when our consumer groups were doing studies to identify who the consumer was, I mean, they were detailed. Very, very detailed. Because the more detailed you are, the more you can speak to their hearts and not just their minds. So you really need to identify your skill set and how it would match to your niche. So consider your skills, your expertise, and your interests. Ask yourself, what am I naturally good at? What problems do people frequently ask me for help with? What industry, knowledge, or skills do I already possess? This is really important. I don't want you starting from scratch. You need to base your service based business on expertise. Today, you need to go to a networking event and say that I have a decade of experience in X, Y, and Z, and I can offer X, Y, and Z services. So, taking stock of the knowledge and the skills you already possess that others will pay for is really the number one way you will win in this game. Do not go reinventing the wheel now, unless you just really, really hate what you've been doing for the past 10 years. That's a totally different conversation. But if you already have that expertise, let me tell you something. There's something beautiful about effortless money. And effortless money is money that comes from you're paying me based on my expertise, not based on how many hours I work. That is the ultimate place we want to take you to, right? Because, for example, you will be hired by some business to come help solve a stability issue for a particular product. The other scientists, it might take them 5 hours to figure out the issue, but you might go in there, analyze something for 30 minutes, and give them a solution. You're not being paid per hour, you're being paid for that solution. And that solution might cost that company $600 to $1,000. That is what you want to command. The second thing I want you to do is to validate your business idea. If you've watched all of my deep dive business model videos, you know that some of these things are the same, but how you do them will change a little bit, right? No matter what business you're running, you have got to validate that business. Before investing heavily into brandings and tools, you need to validate your idea by offering the service at a discounted price. And honestly, I know this is controversial to some people. I am okay offering services for free when I'm still trying to test the waters, because this allows me to test the demand and to gather feedback from people I know and trust, right? If you have colleagues at your current job who will be willing to test out the services, friends, open things out to them, right? I think it really depends, right? But colleagues, if you have a 9 to 5 job right now, I wouldn't want them to know the things that you're doing, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because sometimes It helps to build your business in silence and away from prying eyes and judgment. So I would connect with potential clients and friends. And I think that it's also really important that even though you're leveraging your skills, but that you try to differentiate your business from your career, right? So let's say in your career, you're a CPA, but you're CPA for one company. That's very different than, for example, if you were a contracting CPAs that goes into your town and get all sorts of customers. That would be challenging for you to have your own business under those circumstances, right? So maybe in this case, instead of you offering CPA services to businesses, maybe you do bookkeeping services, right? Something to differentiate you from your current business, but something that still leans on the knowledge of your current business. And I also want you to start conducting market research to assess the competition and pricing. Build a social media presence. You want to start seeing, well, who's out there? What are they doing? And how will I stack up against them? I'm going to talk a little bit about this at the end. And I keep talking about this in every single video. You need to be taking advantage of more than one business model. Maybe this is where you're also starting a YouTube channel, or you're starting a strong social media presence on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram so that you can start to gin up interest on your business before you've even launched. And you're gauging for them, well, what do they need? What responds well to them so that you're pairing the media based business with the service based business strategy together. Okay? The third thing I want you to do is to begin to set up your business structure. I know this is the boring stuff, so I'll go through it quickly. You don't necessarily need an LLC immediately. And I'm a big believer that unless you're forming a product-based business that will have IP, trademarks, and etc., to give your business the time to be nurtured before you really start moving into the LLC space. But as soon as you start earning some money, consider setting up a legal structure for tax benefits and liability protection. Right? For example, you can get an EIN number right away. You can get a separate bank account right away and at least start with that. But in terms of registering an LLC and all of that, I think you can wait until you've had one or two consistent clients, because I think you don't know where this business is going. You want to establish it first, then truly build a branding around it, do all of your research. Now you have your register, your business name, and all of that. Okay, so that's just my preference, but you need to do what is best for you, and you also need to listen to your team around you. Maybe you have a lawyer that tells you, yeah, we need you to set up X, Y, and Z. But be careful though, because especially if that lawyer is going to benefit from you setting up that LLC, right? But you need to do what is best for you. But what I do want you to do though is to open a bank account and to set up real clear contracts to protect your work and agreements with clients. That's a non-negotiable. Those are things that you can set up outside of an LLC. The only thing I'm not really a big fan of is setting up LLC. I feel like Black people especially, we're like, we love LLCs, man. A Black person dreams up a little business around the corner selling lemonade. They're like, you need to get you an LLC, because somewhere in our minds, having an LLC makes us believe that we're business people, but having an LLC doesn't make you a businesswoman. It's making money that makes you a businesswoman. I also want you in this, when you're validating your business, to start deciding on your pricing model, right? How do you want to get paid? Is it on an hourly basis, a project basis, a retainer? I would highly, highly discourage you from offering an hourly basis pay, because you are not getting paid based on how many hours you put into a project. You're getting paid based on your expertise. Set that standard early on. Unless you don't really feel comfortable, you're still testing the waters, avoid hourly pay as much as you can, right? And just set that standard clear from the very beginning. The fourth thing you are going to do is to establish your online presence. I think this goes without saying. Even if you don't have a website, you can start attracting clients through social media. Having a website is not easy and it can take time. By the way, right over here, I am going to link 3 videos to online CRMs that you can use to start your service based business. All of them will allow you to be able to either sell digital products, take on clients, conduct meetings. The 3 CRMs that I'm going to share will be one, Pensight. This is for, let's say you're in college and you want to dip your toes, use Pensight. The second one that I'm going to share is Beacons. Beacons, very similar to Pensight, is great if you're offering coaching services. You can create an okay website. It's a little bit more elevated from Pensight, but it costs less. So we'll leave the link here, somewhere around here, so you can review that and see if that would work for your service-based business. And then my personal favorite is Honeybook, and we'll leave the link around here as well. And we'll also have these links in the description below. Honeybook, to me, is the perfect one for people who are like photographers, wedding planners. I mean, they have so many great features. I won't go through them here, but those are cheap and effective ways for you to set up an online presence that won't cost you a lot of money. And of course, outside of that website, you have your social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. All of this is going to be a way for you to share your services with potential customers. Make sure that on your social media, you focus on education, entertainment, and testimonials. You do not want your social media to be, hey, buy something for me. Hey, buy something for me. Hey, buy something for me. You will lose people very quickly. Very, very quickly. When you have your website, you can have a specific area where you pitch your services, where your services and pricing will be displayed and your testimonials. But please, on your social media, try to not be the person who has nothing but pitches on her social media. It doesn't work very well. Now, let's talk about getting your clients. Your first clients, be open for them to come from everywhere. Your corporate network, your former boss, your industry connections, social media engagement, posting constantly and offering value, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, right? Really be open to having leads coming from everywhere. And honestly, when you are a service-based business, your leads will determine whether or not you will eat or you will go hungry. So you need to take lead generation very seriously. Along with your network bringing you leads, you also need to do some cold outreach via email and DMs. Yes, I know. How many of you have opened your LinkedIn and you see that you have a message? You're like, ooh, I wonder who has taken the time to send me a little DM today, and it's somebody offering the services, their products, etc. You cannot be shy about that. You have to really take that approach because you never know where your best client is going to come from, right? Consider offering free educational content, free webinars, consultation, or introductory discounts to build trust and attract clients, right? And this for a lot of people is hit and miss. I often have people who say, no, I never offer anything free. You need to do what is best for you. Is what's best for you a 20% off discount, or hey, I'm going to do your first X, Y, and Z service completely gratis. In return, you will write a testimonial for me. And if you want to keep moving forward, I will offer you X% off. That to me is not a bad deal for a service based business, somebody who's starting out. You knew this one was coming. Systemize and automate to scale. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming, my darling. Once you start getting consistent clients, shift your focus to efficiency and scaling. So here is exactly how you are going to do that. You want to automate your bookings. And that's where those softwares that I just shared with you earlier, Pensight, Beacons, and Honeybook, will be handy here. It's a worthy investment. And when you go through them, you will know why. With these tools, you can reduce the back and forth you have with clients when it comes to scheduling meetings. You can automate that on that site, sending them documents to sign. Honeybook, for example, and even Beacons and Penside. You can use templates for proposal, contracts, and onboarding to save you time. Hire support. Your girl has a couple of people who help her on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, because you, as a woman in corporate America, will go utterly insane. Or actually, you will not perform as highly as you can in your work if all of your energy is out there chasing these clients, because you're building this business on the side and you already have a full-time job. And when I talk about leveraging your full-time job, this is exactly what I mean. What I did this year, I took money out of my savings and I invested it in this business. I can do that because I have a high powered career that enables me to be able to make those types of sacrifices or investments. You can hire a virtual assistant, a junior consultant to help buy back some of your time so that anything you do not like doing is outsourced. Your time is now spent doing only the high impact tasks in your business. For me, high impact tasks is actually making the videos. Today, I'm batch creating content. 7, 8 videos are going to be created today. Can I edit 7 or 8 videos? I don't think so, but I have an editor who is going to slowly editing these videos. In the next month or so, I don't have to record a video because I already have the content. So work smart and not just hard. Here is another thing that I really want you to do that would really help with scaling. A service-based business requires you to actually be the expert offering the service to make money. And often this is very hard to scale unless you start thinking creatively by creating digital products. Can you write an ebook, a guide, a template, an online course that will now generate passive income on your behalf? Right? The type of business I want you specifically to start creating is one that will cater to other businesses, right? So what you can now maybe do, think about, instead of you always being the person who goes there and gives the service, maybe you build a blueprint SOP that B2B businesses can buy from you. And now the team can read those watch videos so that they know how to troubleshoot things faster. If you're a coach, can you create a group coaching program and have an online academy where now you have your online academy that gives you monthly membership? You have the group coaching program that gives you a little bit more money, committed people. And then if and only if it's a super high powered customer or client, you do one-on-one coaching, right? So you have your academy that would be like less than 100. You have the group coaching that will be anywhere from 500 to 2,000. And then you have the private coaching that will be 2,000 or plus. This is really how you begin to scale when you have a service-based business. So the seventh thing you are going to do to win in this particular business is to leverage marketing and referrals. You need to grow your business. Right? I want you to focus on building authority and attracting more clients. Right? Content marketing. Create a valuable blog post, video, or newsletter. Yes, this is where earlier when I was talking to you about pairing a media-based business with a service-based business, they actually do very well together. Client referrals. Offer discounts and incentive for referrals. Partnerships. Who can you collaborate with that complements your service? So let's say, for example, you are a bookkeeper, you collaborate with the tax preparer, and now you're both working together. Let's say you are a mindset coach, you collaborate with a nutrition coach, for example, right? And now you're funneling customers to one another. Paid advertising. You have no choice. If you really want to succeed in your business, you have to do some degree of paid advertising. You need to experiment with Facebook, LinkedIn ads, Google ads. All right. Once you have your proven strategy, run with it. The last thing we are going to talk about, this one honestly is going to be very important, especially for you, my corporate power mavens, is how do you transition from side hustle to full time business? if you want to. And I think this is really important for me to be able to emphasize here. You don't always have to be building a side business because you want to escape your 9 to 5 job. That's not true. You can be building a side business because you want it, because you care about it, and because you like the security of the extra income. Most of us, yes, that is our goal. We want to be able to make the power move of thriving in corporate America and then transitioning into our own business, right? That is scalable, that will give us more time freedom, that will give us more control over our schedule and our lifestyle, right? One day when I have a baby, I want to spend as much time as possible with my children. I don't want to spend it having to ask permission to my boss to spend time with my children. That's a no-no. But if you're one of those people who want to eventually transition into this business full time, here are some things that I want you to think about. Before you quit, you want to make sure that you have 6 to 12 months of savings as a safety net. You want to have a steady stream of recurring revenue, and you want to secure long term client contracts. This is really important. Service based business can be inconsistent. So if you ever want to say, I'm going to quit this business to take on this service based business, do you have long term clients? And do you have a cushion that will sustain you? And most importantly, do you potentially have multiple streams of income? When I was talking about building a media based business along with your service based business, it's to protect you against the fluctuation of both businesses, right? Because the more income you have coming in, the more you can save, and also the more you can cushion the bad weeks, the bad months, and even the bad years. Before we go, I really hope you have enjoyed this whole series on different types of businesses. The service based business is one of my personal favorite because to me, it's the best way to maximize your impact, to maximize your income, but you're leveraging experience as a woman in corporate America. Starting a business is really empowering, especially the service based business. This journey will allow you to build wealth and create career flexibility. So, really, right now, commit to leveraging your existing skills and start just putting the feelers out there. What can you build? What type of business can you build? Start low key validating that business. See if you can secure clients and then focus on automating that business. The key is to take action, even if it's imperfect, slow, small action. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll build a profitable business that aligns with your lifestyle and your financial goals. So don't be scared. Go out there and get started. The worst case scenario, you would learn a whole lot of things. If this video helped you gain clarity on whether the service based business is right for you, please share it with an ambitious woman in corporate America who needs this insight. Make sure to subscribe for more actionable strategies on building wealth, scaling a business, and leveraging your expertise for financial independence. And if you're ready to take this journey even further, join the Power Move Collective. This is our Lessons Lived community where driven women like yourself are turning their skills into profitable business. Your success really starts with the right decision. I trust that you will take action based on what you learned today. I thank you for joining me on another video, and my dear, I will see you in the next one.